And 3, 2, 1. Welcome to BOBACAST, where our slimy consistency might make you gag. I'm Dan T of Twisted Banana Productions, and with me today is my friend Nathan. How are you doing today, sir?
Good.
Good. It's Friday, right?
Yeah, full of boba already.
Yeah, so boba, for those of you who don't know, is a, what would you say it is? It's kind of a
Tapioca.
It's tapioca, but it's like rice balls, but they're made into like a pudding.
It's not rice balls at all. It's just tapioca balls.
Tapioca balls.
Compressed tapioca
little
balls.
pudding balls.
Pudding balls, basically.
Yeah, and they put them at the bottom of drinks, either a milk tea, like a sweetened tea with milk, or like I have today, I'm drinking a strawberry slushy milk tea.
You had the same thing last week, actually, too. No, you got the mocha last.
I had a mocha coffee flavored one. They're literally they'll take anything and put boba in it, and it makes it more delicious. And although you have to chew it, so it's weird for a podcast. So if when you're talking, I'll be chewing, and when you're talking, alternate. It's kind of funny. I will let you talk about what's been going on this week with you. What's new?
Work is, since one of the clients that our company supports, they were off Monday, so we got some other things arranged. And I had the joy of lifting a 100 and some pound UPS battery to a server room. That is super heavy.
Wait, what kind of battery?
Like we have in our server room here. It's actually a backup battery, so the power goes out and everything stays on. It's an actual battery.
Oh yeah, backup battery. Yeah, I have those at work on one of my computers because.
Yeah, we have one on our server rack in the garage.
Yeah.
So we had to do that, and we're doing a podcast now. I had to do a similar experience. The company did a meeting, and we had to webcast it through YouTube. So I got to use OBS Studio and stream it on YouTube and record it with Audacity. Yes, Audacity.
You had the audacity to record. Audacity.
Yes, I had the audacity to record it. Just kidding. But it was good. My first time doing it. The other guys did it before, so it was decent. Had some minor hiccups here and there, but it was good. So that's a good experience for me. Other than that, work was super busy, so I'm glad it's Friday.
Yeah, it's a good. My work this week was busy as well. Just my work was more stressful because it was more troubleshooting. Like this computer won't do this, and this thing won't connect to this, and this, and I have those weeks. But I did. But Thursday went really well. My computer behaved, and it behaved very, very well, and it ran great. So I don't have any complaints about Thursday. But my sleep schedule's been all over the place. I've been real tired, kind of.
I noticed that. What was it, Monday or Tuesday? I was up super early and you were up. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I was. My thing is, if I get up in the middle of the night, or if I wake up in the middle of the night, I don't always try to go back to sleep unless it's easy to do so. Sometimes I'll get up and I'll do something for an hour.
Is it insomnia?
No. It's just not sleeping.
Okay.
But so I'll get up kind of early or late or whatever, and then I'll play video games for like an hour or something. And I know you're not supposed to look at a screen, but that actually helps me relax. What really works for me is watch someone speedrun a game without any commentary. And the game's like a first-person shooter or something that's kind of slower paced, maybe like a survival horror game or something like that. And that will I'll just conk out. I'll get real sleepy. And
I've done that.
Give me an hour, and my body will kind of refocus, and I go back to sleep.
I've done that. I watched a speedrun of Postal, the old PC game.
Oh yeah,
that was fun.
Oh man, but I guess I can talk about what I've been doing this week. I've been playing a game called Disgaea 5.
Yeah, I know.
Disgaea. Disgaea.
Spoiler, is that the one you got 999 in the first day?
You can gain... No, not first day. Dude, it takes like 50 hours, dude.
Okay.
But it's most games, you have experience levels, right? You level up, and this one's like, oh, well, I can get to... You start at level 1, and you can level all the way up to 9,999, which at the beginning takes 50 hours. But now I can do it in 10 minutes. Because there's literally a room where if my character kills these enemies in this room, because the enemies I'm leveling up on before, they give you a lot of experience, but they're level 300. But when you kill an enemy that's level 8,400 with an experience bonus, and I have characters. I have special perks on my weapons and stuff that give me over 1,800% experience increase. So I literally kill an enemy, and I gain like I think I gain like 4,000 levels of kill or something.
Oh wow!
So it's fun to it's basically a strategy game. Think anime chess, but with a lot of. This one didn't have the greatest jokes. The original. In the original game, I remember they go to a guy and he's always like, "I will stop you, for I am the Dark Adonis." And they go, "No, your name is Mid-Boss." And they call him Mid-Boss the whole game, and they won't let it go. But it's fun characters. It's set in the Netherworld, so it's a lot of dark creatures and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's got such a comedy spin on it. It's actually quite enjoyable. I ordered this week. I ordered a T-shirt, the anime T-shirt. I'm writing about an anime in 2009 and for a new YouTube video. And like an idiot, I buy merchandise. I find stuff. I actually had this. I had to spell the name wrong to get this T-shirt to pop up on a website. Then I bought it. It's a 2XL, and I was worried because at first I ordered it. Excuse me. I ordered it from a guy in Tennessee. I was like, oh well, that'll be a U.S. size T-shirt. Mm-hmm. Well, then he's like, well, we have to order that. We have to ship that from our warehouse in China.
I see.
We have to ship it, and so now I'm worried. I'm like, oh, did I buy a Chinese T-shirt? Because the China sizes, Korean sizes for T-shirts are a lot smaller than the U.S. sizes for obvious reasons. And so I have a T-shirt in the other room I bought. First of all, it's polyester. Yuck. I like cotton shirts better, but the polyester shirt, and it's like way too small. So it's I bought a triple XL shirt, and it's like an XL US, and I just like, what is it? Because I'm a relatively heavy person who likes. I actually still like to wear clothes that are relatively baggy and loose fitting.
Same here. I'm double X usually for shirts. I got the shirts for my new job. They give me first they want it. They're XLs and they fit me fine.
Right. Yeah, because they're always like a weird, and they shrink too. So you're like, well, better never. Right now it's a China size, whatever. I can kind of wear it, but I won't be able to. But I bought the T-shirt. And then the T-shirt came in the mail, and it's actually somewhere between. Like, I think it's more of a U.S. size, but it's like the smallest possible 2XL you could have. It's not like a 2XL extra tall or something. So I actually ordered another one that's 3X.
Okay.
I ordered another T-shirt that was a 3XL shirt, and I went on a website, and they also had a mug. And I bought this mug just because I wanted to buy something else with the T-shirt, because buying one item is a little weird for me sometimes. But I wanted a new mug, and this mug is really cute. It's got 3 corgis on it. The corgis are facing backwards, and it says, "Corgi butts drive me nuts." The last mug that I bought said something like, "I survived another meeting that should have been an email." So I'm always looking for I like, if I see a mug, a T-shirt, or something, and it makes me laugh, that's a purchase usually. Yeah, and so that's always a fun thing.
Speaking of shirts, about my LineCon, right? My domain name and website I'm doing.
Right, because conventions have long lines, and so they're called line cons when you have too long of a line. Yeah.
What you just said, I was thinking of doing too. So I was thinking of getting a shirt that says "I survived LineCon," and all I got was this lousy T-shirt, and hand them out at Anime Expo. Yeah,
there you go. I survived LineCon 2019 coming up.
I was thinking of doing that. We'll see how expensive I am. Maybe I could start the business license comes through. I can sell them. Who knows?
Yeah, you said earlier we have a server room downstairs. Like, we don't just have our standard internet where we have modem connected to a router and that goes to our computers. Like, we have that, but how is that set up downstairs? Why don't you tell people how that's set up? Because that might be kind of interesting.
Well, we have 2 internet connections. One's actually going to go away because we don't need it anymore. But yeah, it's just our regular router from our internet going to my own router and to a switch, a big one for all of my servers and your computer, my Mac, my room, all to connect and all wireless, which I'm going to replace because the wireless is acting up now. But yeah, it's a big rack of this. I house all my data from family, photos, old school papers, things like collected over the many years, because I have 3 degrees, so I have all my documents there. Everything's backed up there, so. And I have a tape drive. I can back up all my stuff, and I get that to my dad. Says, hey, anything happens in my servers, you have my backups. And that's pretty much it, so.
Yeah, you got to back up your servers. There's been songs written about when servers crash. It's really funny. Why so blue? Blue screen of death.
Blue screen of death, or the color wheel of death, if you're a Mac user.
Yeah, you remember that episode of a Family Guy where there's the like, Pete, I think that Peter's like, what's that, Lois? And they're sitting around and the thing's spin, and it's right in the middle of the screen spinning, and they're like, what do we do, Peter? I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait. And they just sit there and they. Oh, the other one where Peter Griffin's making fun of the network. I like Fourth Wall stuff like that, where Peter Griffin's making fun of the. Maybe you shouldn't make fun of the network, Peter. Oh, what are they gonna do? Cut our budget? I'm gonna go get a beer, and then he's literally like a still image, like going back and forth down the hall. Oh, hilarious. But well, let's get on to some of the things I wanted to just mention. We're gonna start with the bigger issue I noticed. We have a segment, This Week in Awesome and This Week in Stupid. And we're going to start with This Week in Stupid because let's get the bad stuff out of the way first. And as you know, last few weeks, the Notre Dame Cathedral had fires caused by who knows what. Probably just a negligence or something. And now they want to rebuild it. And there has been... And this is what kind of upset me, is that France has announced a contest to redesign the spire and probably part of the roof as well. And some of the images so far are like they want to do a glass ceiling, a literal glass ceiling, and they want to do like a crystal and glass like new spire, which would or something like that. And the whole thing is like why not have historical experts come in and rebuild the cathedral the way it should be? But no, they want to farm it out to all these kind of wannabe guys and all this new age architectural people to come up with these things that we want it to embody a modern France and progressive the future and what our society is like now. And I was like this is an 800-year-old, Catholic church, basically. And
you're getting rid of the originality. All the stuff from the past history would be gone if we do it again.
Yeah, and there's this tendency in our media to kind of want to erase history in a way. The usual thing people say is, well, that history offends me. That's offensive to my beliefs. That's offensive to my thing.
Pretty much anything on the internet offends someone at some point. That offends me. Something offends me. Like, this word offends me in this whole entire story in the news. Like, that's just...
Yeah,
or something like that.
And what's interesting is that it's never just like, oh, this is offensive to me, I won't have anything to do with that. Mm-hmm. It's, no, this thing is offensive to me, I must change it.
Yep.
I must make it, and it just drives me nuts. And they have suggested everything from, some people are like, let's put Islamic minarets in it. I'm like,
no.
Islamic minarets in the Catholic Church? Are you kidding me? That's a bad idea. People just are coming up with all kinds of stuff. Everybody wants to be inclusive and,
weren't there so many billionaire companies that were donating to restore it, and then now they're all just getting bent out of shape or everything?
I'm getting to one of those later. That's the light at the end of the tunnel here.
Okay.
Or what I think should happen. But someone said that because when the cathedral's burning, the reaction from most of us is like, oh, that's horrible. We need to rebuild what we've lost. But some people are. I got to read this quote. This is a quote that someone said: "The cathedral is a deep-seated symbol of resentment, a monument to a deeply flawed institution, and an idealized Christian France that arguably never existed in the first place. And that the burning was an act of liberation." Anything can be made way too political if you think into it. It's a simple thing. Historical site burned down, rebuilt historical site. Because there's people who are always restoring historical paintings and things that are historical because they're history and you can't replace them. it's easy to have somebody go, oh, let's put some glass in here and redesign a crystal spire. Anybody can do that at any time, but you can't always rebuild what was once there. But that leads me to other issues, because this is, on one hand, I'll probably get a few groans for this, but it's kind of, there is an attack on Christians that's happening. Every religious group has somebody attacking them. That's true. I mean, there's all kinds of issues going on. There's lots of different religious freedoms and that are not being allowed to have freedom. But Christians are the biggest group of these who are persecuted for their faith and for those kind of things. And there was that attack on Easter. Easter happened last week, and there was in Sri Lanka there was attacks on not just a church, but hotels and stuff too.
Yeah, there was 200 or 300 people died, and
290 or so.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, and I was actually in church on Easter, and
so was I.
If you don't know, there are people, the people that only come to church on Christmas and Easter are people known as CEOs, Christmas, Easter only. So that's the joke there. But people like that, like, you're going to church with your mother kind of people. But what was really horrible about this is that we had, of course, after the Sri Lanka attacks happened, you had Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and even Trump. Trump actually messed up his tweet, which is something Trump would do because he's an idiot. It's like
he trumped himself.
What?
He trumped himself.
Trumped himself. Well, but Trump messed up. But it was Hillary and Obama. They didn't. I know we're getting really political today. It's supposed to be a fun podcast, but Hillary and Obama were giving condolences to the victims. They never mentioned the word Christian. They didn't say Christian. They didn't say Catholic. They didn't say any of that. I'm just like, what is wrong with saying what happened? Christian people were attacked. Christians were attacked in Sri Lanka on Easter. That's what happened. But we're it's just part of the kind of the rewriting of history, the PC culture, that whole thing coming in, and nobody wants to offend anybody, but everybody's offended. So I don't. But anyway, let's move on, because that was really, really stupid. That's This Week in Stupid. But This Week in Awesome is really awesome because the Avengers came out. The Avengers Endgame.
Sorry, no spoilers.
Yeah, I saw it this morning. I am not going to spoil it because there are a lot of people listening. I'm just going to say, if you saw Infinity War, you're obviously going to see this one because you got to have that closure, But this film, though, without spoiling anything, really is just a celebration of almost 11 years of great Marvel films. It started with Iron Man in 2008, and then now it's Endgame in 2019. And really, though, if you're going into this movie expecting really hardcore action, there is some of that in there. But majority of the movie is really about these characters. And because if you're like me and you've been watching these movies for 10 years, you're like, well, this is the real story. These people are going through lots of emotions, lots of issues, character moments, and it's a little bit of a slower movie in the beginning. And but it's a good movie, and it's although it is 3 hours long, so go to the bathroom. That's one thing I can tell you.
I saw that online. There are so many articles. When to go pee during the Avengers? I'm like, what the heck?
That's the thing,
My coworker said he was going to go see it tonight too, and he says, I told him about that. He says, yeah, I'm probably not going to drink anything for that the rest of the night.
I had a little sip of boba. Oops. I had a little sip of water beforehand, but no, I didn't have to go. So
yeah. I actually found out if I do like a long movie, I usually get bottled waters now because I don't drink sodas. If I sip that water bottle slowly through the movie, I'm fine. I don't need to. But if I down the water halfway through or something like that, like 10 minutes, I'm like, oh crap, I gotta do this. So, but yeah, if I drink it slowly in moderation, yeah, I don't have to get up.
Here's a funny bathroom story. There's a long time ago when the movie Alien Resurrection came out, the fourth Alien movie. Me and my friend, you remember my friend Patrick?
Yeah. Me
and Patrick went to go see it because we're big Alien fans. By the way, if you're an Alien fan, I am sorry. It has been a letdown since Alien 3. Alien 3 was okay, and then they've been bad ever since, pretty much. Except for maybe Prometheus in there, but
No, I have to say Prometheus.
it was okay.
A pre-aliens kind of thing.
The Alien Covenant is a bunch of stupid people. The aliens killed them because they were stupid, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
The girl who's like, oh, the alien's there, I'm going to fire at it, even though there's fuel tanks behind it. Really dumb stuff in that movie. The guy who creates all this elaborate mapping technology gets lost in the bone ship. It's a half circle ship. How do you get lost? I don't know. But we were going to see Alien Resurrection, and we're sitting in the theater. The part I missed was where Ripley rips out the tongue of the alien. I missed that part because they're walking down the hallway. I'm like, well, this is a good time. So I bolt down to the bathroom, and Pat's like, don't worry, I'll tell you what happened. And then I go to the toilet, and I'm standing there using the restroom. And then Patrick runs right next to me and starts using the restroom too. And he's like, sorry, I had to go, man. I was just like, well, what happened? He goes, I don't know, man. I think she tore the alien's tongue out or something. I don't know. And when we got back there, that scene where she sees all the clones of her that were failed and whatever. But
that's almost like what's it called when you what's that saying? If you sneeze or something like that, it goes around the room. So like when Patrick probably saw you get up, I gotta go too. And like all of a sudden, okay, I gotta go.
One person yawns, everybody yawns.
Yeah. But Mythbusters busted that. I think
they did
many years ago. They did actually put a bunch of people in a small room and they said one person yawn and see what happens. Nothing happened.
It was like, why are you yawning, bro? Like, but Avengers is really good. People after Captain Marvel came out, people were like, Captain Marvel's gonna save all of them, and it's gonna be Mary Sue female savior narrative. I'm just like, no, it'll probably be okay. And Captain Marvel does some cool stuff, but she's not the end all character that saves everybody, and I'm glad that we didn't have to put up with that. But if you're listening to this podcast and you're a woman and you're going to go see the Avengers, there's plenty of cool women doing some cool things in that movie. So, but I will stop now because I will be getting into spoilers. But
what I was about to ask, without spoiling it, is there room for future Avengers movies?
Of course there is.
There is?
I mean, they nicely closed out. There's only one thing I'm going to say. When they get to the credits of the film, there's a nice part where they kind of pay tribute to the movie, the actors and stuff, which is cool. Just to kind of say, hey, here are our original Avengers and the actors, and we're working hard for 10 years, and then so they show, and then once the credits continue to roll after that little thing, you can leave. There is no end credit sequence. You don't have to stay the last 10 minutes to the end. There's nothing there. Trust me, we did. And there's nothing at the end. And this is not some trick to trick you into not seeing what's really there. There's literally nothing at the end.
So there's no shawarma scene at the end. Like
No. There's like the end of the Avengers where they're sitting there eating their shawarma. He's like, there's a shawarma place nearby. I want to try it. So like, You just saved the entire world from like nuclear attack here.
Yeah.
From annihilation. You just want to eat, I guess, huh?
He wakes up, shawarma. Yeah.
So, spoilers for the Avengers, but that was years ago. But yeah, this new movie is really good, and if you're the kind of person who casually sees superhero movies, you'll probably enjoy it. But you may be a little bored till later in the movie. But if you're if you're like me and you've been following these movies, it is a nice closure and a wonderful end to that.
Okay.
And it's not political. I don't think there's anything in the film where I go, well, that's a blah 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 power fantasy. No, there's nothing political in this movie. It's just a fun. I mean, they have to overcome the fate of the universe here. So this is a big stakes and a big movie. So it's really totally worth seeing.
If I ask, it's not going to be a spoiler. Is there a SL cameo in it?
SL?
Stan Lee.
Oh, Stan Lee? There is, because actually they filmed a bunch before he died. They filmed a bunch of them.
But there's a tribute somewhere in it for him, kind of thing. Or
there's something in there, but there's not really a tribute. I think Captain Marvel had a tribute to Stan Lee in it.
Yeah, rest in peace, Stan Lee.
Yeah. I actually when Stan Lee died, all the great messages and things people said about how he influenced their childhood.
He's a legend.
Yeah, absolute legend.
Absolute legend.
I'm just all these. He created these characters that will be forever remembered as part of the culture too, not just great characters.
It started on one piece of paper and became a comic. The next thing you know it, one thing leads to another. Movies, books, you name it, all because of him.
Yeah, Marvel Comics, yeah, household name, pretty much. And yeah, that still carries on today. And I've seen all the Marvel movies except Captain Marvel because there was too much political stuff behind it. I kind of went, gonna let that one go. Gonna rent it later. It's not super necessary for me to understand that who she is for right now. But I will see that later. But they've already shown little mini trailers for like the next Spider-Man film. So you're like, wait a minute. There's movies coming out with the characters, that doesn't match up with the current movie, so there's if you follow the story, you're like, well, what happens in the movie is part of it's been spoiled already because of what movies are planned for the future. But anyway,
that happened too with Fast and Furious. After Tokyo Drift, that one character dies. But the next thing you know, there's 3 more Fast and Furious movies, like a prequel to it with that character in it. So the same thing happens in that case. But yeah, I can't wait to Hobbs and Shaw, which comes out the weekend after my birthday.
That movie looks funny.
The following weekend, next weekend, the following weekend, Hobbs and Shaw comes out. I'm gonna go see it.
It's just gonna be constant hilarious clips the whole movie. It's just
Access
Jason
denied.
Rock just going
I saw
at
you when you told me about that. I watched the trailer again when you told me about it. Access denied. Access denied. Yeah.
Jason Statham has the Rock hits a button and it's like ding, and then Jason Statham's got the guy's head and he's slamming it against the retinal scanner. It's like access denied.
Yep.
Access denied.
I like they bring his family into it. I guess, Mama, where are my weapons? I got rid of those things.
Oh yeah, there's like placeholders where the weapons should be in the room, and the thing they do that cool flip, look at all these guns, like they do in John Wick or something.
Did you see that thing about John Wick? Keanu Reeves said he'll do John Wick as much as he can for the fans. He'll keep on doing movies for the fans.
Well, he's 56 or something, so he better.
He is the.
How old is he now? It's 50 something.
50 something, but everyone says John. No, I say his character name. Keanu Reeves is the ultimate, nicest Hollywood actor. You saw the thing, was it 2 months ago? He was on a bus going across the country or something like that. It broke down. So instead of flying and everything, he gets a rent-a-car and takes some of the passengers with him and drives the rest of the way to freaking LA with Keanu Reeves in the car. That's how freaking good he is.
Yeah, he's a class act, I've heard.
Oh, yeah,
and he really does know kung fu. Mm-hmm. Because he's in a movie. There's a movie called Man of Tai Chi, and he's got and he fights the guy at the end. Keanu Reeves and this guy fight, and Keanu's doing his own stunts. But right before John Wick 3 came out, they had footage of Keanu Reeves at the shooting range, and he's just popping off shots and switching guns and pistols and shotguns, and they're just he really is John Wick. He can do this stuff.
That's a competition. So basically, they're timing him. So they have a course, and you have maybe a few weapons. So that's when if you watch that video clip again, you hear a beep, and right in the beginning of it, last timer starts, and you got to hit all your targets and everything within a certain time, and that's basically. So that was fun, yeah. You see him use a regular handgun, switch to a shotgun, and they do a slow-mo. They see when he pulls the thing back, and they see the shell come out and everything, the slow-mo and everything. That's so freaking awesome.
It's really cool. The one more story before we close here. The kind of last week we did some tech news. This week we're doing. Let's want to talk about Mortal Kombat 11. Mortal Kombat 11 came out this week, and it's as nasty, gory, and violent, fatalities, all that cool stuff, right? But there's some stories have come out. First of all, that the people said that people are working 70 to 100 hour work weeks on the game before it came out. Oh. In the game industry, it's what they call crunch, where they're overworking the people who work on their games, and it's really sad to hear about these kind of things that that this crunch is happening. That's the thing, is just that you're overworking these people and their family. They need to see their families, and they need to have there's a balance of work to life that they need to have. But that's actually just that news has come out recently. But people have noticed that in the game as you play it, you there's different currencies you can get. There's coins with a K, coins, and various other things, and you redeem these coins at a place called the Crypt, and the Crypt has various unlockables, costumes, and you can fully customize your fighters now. Like, you can do all amazing customizations. It looked really good in the demos. I have been very hesitant to pick up Mortal Kombat 11. One, because I'm not great at fighting games, but two, because I'm playing, Disgaea 5 and all that. But the main reason is that they say that the game's too grindy. Like, you have to play. They said you would have to play for something like 1,000 hours to like unlock all the stuff. Like, it's way too much time you would need to spend to unlock everything. And then what they're doing is they're offering the chance for you can pay real money to get those things that you would normally download, or that you would normally work toward in the game. Like, if you don't want, usually people want to grind and play the game themselves and earn those things. Because growing up, that was something I always did. Games were designed so that you would get the game and you would spend days just unlocking all the stuff, but it wouldn't take more than a week or two usually. And you have all the stuff unlocked, all the costumes. But nowadays, some idiot years ago said, hey, why don't we not put all that extra stuff in the game? We'll give them kind of a more bare bones game, and then we'll sell them the other stuff. And that's essentially what's happening, is that, or the other thing is that they make the grind in the game so tedious and long that they want to sell you with real money those things. And the mobile phone games, they thrive on this. That's how, if you're, yeah, go ahead.
So basically they're separating the hardcore gamers from the newbies. The newbies buy the stuff, the hardcore gamers don't.
Actually, no, the hardcore gamers buy it as well, because it's just, they can't, I mean, are you hardcore enough to grind 1,000 hours? Like, that's ridiculous. There are some people who might do it, but if it's too grindy, everybody complains, because a lot of the complaining is coming from game journalists who don't have enough time to play, and all that. But
yeah, I used to. I played through and beat the first original Call of Duty like twice, and that was my big game. Then Counter-Strike and so on.
Right, but the whole game was there. You didn't have to buy the extra missions.
This is before all that stuff came out. Yeah. I think World of Warcraft was out during this time too. So,
but it's just, like years ago, like if we told people like, yeah, you're gonna go to a movie and you're gonna watch advertisements for like soap and stuff at a movie, or we'd be like, no, it's stupid. Why are we gonna do that? But the ads are all over the movies and before the movie. With games, people said years ago, like, oh, that stuff that you grinded for, half that stuff you have to pay for in the future. And there'll be season passes where you pay for the whole year in advance, and then they slowly trickle content in all year to keep you interested. But you already paid for it, so if you don't buy it, you're wasting money. And the making you pay for stuff that's already on the dang disc, that's happened. They give you a game disc, stuff's already on there, and they make you pay for it.
That gives me wondering, like, since they do have previews and advertisements at movie theaters and stuff, is it going to be? It's like 2019 now. Will it get to a point that all you do is go to a movie theater and they just open up a YouTube thing, and next thing you know, you watch a movie. Oh, skip ad. You can't click on skip ad in your movie theater. Will it get to that point?
Someone actually brought up the idea. There's people right now. Well, you see those movies. I don't know if it was Blade Runner. It's some movie where it is a Philip K. Dick, one of Philip K. Dick's books. He's the guy who wrote Blade Runner, but he wrote a story about where people driving through space on their way home to planet Earth, and there's advertisements floating in space. And people, even someone today, were talking about, like, what if we had like advertisements so the astronauts would see them with the satellite? There's people talking about this kind of stuff. Like, how do we get our ads in space? Should we put something on the moon? All this stuff, right?
When did he feel like I did do that? When he read all that stuff?
I don't remember. I think
didn't Back to the Future already do that? Because when the DeLorean is flying back in time, you see floating ads. Well,
no, I don't know. But remember, Philip K. Dick came up with the idea for the Matrix in 1969. So he was ahead of his time, probably.
Okay, probably then.
He wrote Blade Runner. He wrote Total Recall. That's all his stuff. and he died in Orange County. He died in Santa Ana, a place called Western Medical Center, pretty close to us.
I don't know Western Medical.
And well, it's still there. It's a different name now, but he died there. I just remember because I've actually never seen Blade Runner all the way through, but I read the book. It's called
the original?
Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? It's the original book.
Okay, I remember.
We're way off topic from Mortal Kombat 11 here. But the idea is that they're called microtransactions. That's where they kind of nickel and dime you. And for those of you who play Candy Crush, you are a victim of King Games and microtransactions. You better watch it. I better buy more lives. I better buy. It's nuts, man.
You're getting me thinking a lot. Microtransactions. You know what it reminds me of? Office Space. They make the virus. They're taking the fraction percent microtransaction and putting it into account.
Yeah. Just reminding you of all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Sparking. But anyway, that's this is happening across the board. The nickel and diamond consumers, the games and phone games, and people announcing new games as phone games. It's very disappointing because you go play an old game and you're like, yep, it's released a game. You go through the game, you finish it, you enjoy it. Everything's self-contained. There's no extra stuff, and every now and then they release a game like that. They released a few years ago, 2 years ago, they released God of War, and they had they announced a new Star Wars game. I can't remember the title right now, but it's going to be a Star Wars game. It's going to be a single-player, self-contained experience. They said it's not going to have any microtransactions, and I was like, yeah, right, EA games. We'll see about that. Yeah.
Well,
because it's funny that when them announcing that they're not going to be greedy is like the news.
When is that set to be released, you think? Hopefully not the same time Star Wars Land officially opens in Disneyland.
Oh, I don't know. No, it's not even finished. Give them at least a year, another year or two at least.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of spoiler pictures online of the Star Wars Land. I'm like, okay,
like the overview where they're flying over.
You see the Millennium Falcon. I'm like, okay, that looks interesting. But we'll see if I want to spend how much is it now? Over $1,000 for the freaking season pass and go because my nephew goes
something like
quite
that.
Often. Or should I just do a one-day park hopper when my nephew goes? I don't know. I gotta weigh the options. Cause I gotta save money. So
yeah, the things we do for our nephews. We both have nephews. It's great. We're both uncles. It's pretty cool.
Well, yours is how old is he?
About 14 months now.
Okay.
14 to 15 months.
Will turns 8 in September already. Remember, he was very small. Now he's.
I saw him about a year ago. That kid was running around and climbing on everything. Just really full of life. That guy.
Oh yeah, he resembles my brother.
Yeah, sure does. Well, I think that was a decent podcast. I think we're gonna wrap up here. Anything else? Anything else you want to add?
No, not really.
Yeah, there's a lot of news. Some of it bad, some of it good. But there will always be tasty boba. Unless they run out of whatever makes tapioca. I think one of these podcasts we should talk about the history of boba. That would be fascinating. Where it came from. Something to research.
Since we went to Japan before, my father actually translated it.
Oh, he did?
Boba said, I think I'll confirm with him, actually is big boob in Japanese. Or something. I'll confirm that, but I think it translates as big boob or something like that.
That's weird.
I don't know. Maybe maybe not big boob. Maybe the language, the wording makes it. No.
Yeah, it could be that there's that bit where the guy comes on stage and he talks about, like, the Japanese character for copper is a combination of the character for gold and the character for same. So gold and same become copper. How does that work? Because gold and same would be gold, right? Logically. Yeah. I don't know how. But there's funny things like that. Anyway, I was going to talk about, we were talking earlier about the cathedral, and there's a game called Assassin's Creed Unity. It came out a few years ago, and it was panned pretty much by critics. But the game itself, they had an artist go to the Notre Dame Cathedral and spend 2 years rendering every rock, every stone in that thing into the game. And so the company that made the game, they not only put the game on sale for everybody, or they made it free to play for people. They also donated like $3 million to the repairs, and so even I guess the positive note is that even some of these greedy game corporations can, in the midst of a tragedy, can band together and donate some money. So yeah, there's positive things to look forward to. Anyway, I hope they go with that. I hope they decide to. That would be an awesome story if they use the video game to reconstruct the cathedral the way it should look. And so,
who knows?
All right, well, that's it. This has been BOBACAST. We will be back next Friday for another one and talking about stuff, and we'll see you all later.